Olivia's hands shook as she tried to balance the old bag on her head. The dusty village compound was full of people. Women in bright Ankara wrappers laughed and clapped. Children ran around, shouting and pointing. 3 black SUVs were parked outside the small gate, their bodies shining under the hot sun like they did not belong in that poor compound. And in the middle of it all, Olivia stood, crying. Tears flowed down her cheeks like water from a broken tap. Her old ash gown, already torn at the shoulder, was stained with dust from the sweeping she had been doing that morning, her bare feet pressed into the hot, rough earth. Beside her, a tall, dark-skinned man in an expensive navy blue suit held her hand. His name was Emeka. People whispered his name with respect. The billionaire from Lagos. The man with big companies. The man who owns houses in Abuja, Lagos, even London. He smiled calmly as cameras from villagers' small phones flashed. His gold watch shone in the sun as he held Olivia's shaking hand, like everything was perfect. Behind them, at the entrance of the small house with red zinc, Madame Sandra, Olivia's own mother, was laughing loudly. She wore a rich blue lace with a big geely tied high on her head. Gold earrings dangled from her ears. Her face glowed with powder and red lipstick. 4 of her closest friends stood beside her, also dressed in expensive Ankara, clapping and cheering. "Congratulations, Sandra," one of them shouted. "You have done well. Your daughter has married a billionaire." Nobody cared that Olivia was crying. Nobody cared that her hands were shaking. Nobody cared that her heart felt like it was breaking into tiny pieces. Then Emeka's driver opened the back door of the SUV. Olivia looked at the car, then at her mother, then at the open gate that led out of the compound. She wanted to run, but her legs refused to move. How did my life turn into this? She thought as another tear fell. Just 3 months ago, her father was still alive. Just 3 months ago, she still believed her dream of becoming a medical doctor would come true. Now, she was being taken away as a wife, to a man she barely knew. And the worst part, her own mother was the one forcing her. As Emeka gently pulled her towards the car, Olivia's mind went back to how that terrible morning started. The sun was still low when Olivia woke up on her thin mattress in the small room she shared with old plastic buckets and bags of Gary. Her body ached from the long market day before, but she stood up anyway. Life in the village did not wait for tears. She picked up the old broom and stepped out into the small compound. The red earth was cool under her feet. Chickens scratched the ground for food. A neighbor's radio played a gospel song softly in the distance. Olivia began sweeping slowly, pushing dust and leaves into a corner. Her gown, the same faded ash one she had worn too many times, brushed the ground as she moved. Her eyes drifted to the small grave outside the fence. It was just a mound of earth with a simple wooden cross. Her father's grave. Her chest tightened. Her father had died only 3 months ago from a snake bite on his farm. He had been strong, full of laughter, always smelling of sweat and fresh cassava. He was the one who held Olivia's hands many times and said, "One day you will wear a white coat, my daughter. You will be Dr. Olivia. I will clap for you in front of the whole village." He had promised to send her to university. He had promised to do everything to make her dream come true. But the snake had been faster. A sharp hiss, a sudden bite, and everything ended. Olivia blinked away tears and kept sweeping. Thinking about him hurt too much. "Olivia!" Her mother's sharp voice cut through the morning air. Olivia flinched. She turned and saw Madame Sandra standing at the doorway, tying her blue lace wrapper tightly around her waist. Even at dawn, she was fully dressed, geely and all, like she was going for a party. "Yes, Mama?" Olivia answered softly. Madame Sandra looked her up and down with a hard face. "Stop that sweeping and come here," she said. Olivia dropped the broom and walked towards her slowly, heart beating fast for no reason she understood. She stopped a few steps away. "Mama, is everything okay?" she asked. Her mother's next words felt like a slap. "You are getting married today." Olivia blinked. She thought she heard wrong. "Mama, what did you say?" "I said you are getting married today," Madame Sandra repeated, her voice firm, like she was announcing a normal thing. "Go and pack your bag." Olivia's mouth opened slightly. Her hands felt cold. Married? she stammered. To who? Why? We never talked about this. I am still mourning Papa. He died just 3 months ago. I still want to go to university. He promised. Will you shut up? Her mother snapped, eyes flashing. Olivia's words died in her throat. Madame Sandra stepped closer, her perfume sharp in the air. Listen to me very well, she said. Your father is gone. Do you hear me? Gone. Dead. Buried. All his dreams died with him. This is real life. Real life needs money. Real life needs help. And God has answered my prayer. Olivia shook her head slowly, tears filling her eyes. I don't understand, she whispered. What does that have to do with me getting married today? Her mother smiled, but it was not a warm smile. The billionaire businessman from Lagos, Chief Emeka, is coming today, she said proudly. He has seen your picture. He likes you. He wants to marry you. Do you know how many girls would kill for this chance? You better arrange your bag and behave yourself. Olivia stepped back, like she had been pushed. A billionaire. Olivia's voice trembled. But Mama, I don't know him. I have never talked to him. I don't love him. I am only 22. I still want to become a doctor. Papa promised. Her mother grabbed her arm so hard it hurt. Promise, 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 she hissed. Do promises put food on this table? Do promises pay house rent? Do promises send your younger brothers to school? Do promises bring your father back from the grave? Olivia bit her lip, tears spilling over now. Mama, please, she whispered. Please, I beg you. I don't want to marry someone I don't know. Give me time. Let me at least go to school first. I will work hard. I will. A loud slap cut her words short. Her cheek burned, her ears rang. Madame Sandra dropped her hand slowly, breathing fast. Do not ever talk to me like that again, she said. I am your mother. I know what is good for you. This man will change our life. Do you hear me? Our life. Two of her friends, who had just walked into the compound, clapped and nodded. That is it, one of them said. You think life is a Nollywood film? You better enter that man's car with Thanksgiving. Olivia, do you know who Chief Emeka is? Another woman added. He is respected everywhere. Big man. Billionaire. Living in Lagos. Look at you, crying like he is a poor farmer. Their laughter stung like pepper in an open wound. Olivia held her cheek, heart pounding. I feel like you are selling me, she whispered. Her mother's eyes darkened. If I wanted to sell you, would I give you to a poor man? She shot back. Go inside, pack your things, wear something better than that rag. He will soon arrive. Olivia stood there for a moment, body frozen. Then she slowly turned and walked back into the room, tears dropping onto the dusty floor. By afternoon, the compound had changed. Plastic chairs were arranged outside. Women sat in groups, gossiping. Men stood together, talking in low voices. A local photographer hung his camera around his neck, ready to capture every moment. Olivia sat on the edge of a chair inside the room, wearing the only other gown. She had a simple yellow dress. Her hair was combed and packed, but her eyes were swollen from crying. She stared at her reflection in a cracked mirror. She did not see a bride, she saw a prisoner. Car horns suddenly echoed from the main road. People rushed to the gate. He has come, someone shouted. The billionaire has come. Olivia's heart jumped. Her mother burst into the room, smiling from ear to ear. Stand up, she ordered. Your husband is here. Olivia's legs felt like cotton as she stood. Her mother adjusted her hair roughly, wiped her tears with a handkerchief, and pushed the Ghana must-go bag into her hands. Carry your bag on your head, she said. Do not embarrass me. Smile small. Respect yourself. Mama, please. Olivia tried again, voice shaking. Do not do this to me. Please. I am begging you. I will never complain about anything again. Just don't send me away like this. For a moment, just a tiny moment, Madame Sandra's eyes softened. She looked at her daughter, the same girl she once carried on her back, the same girl who used to sleep on her chest as a baby. Then she remembered something. She remembered the money Chief Emeka had promised her. Her face hardened again. Enough, she said. Do not use tears to spoil my blessing. Let us go. She dragged Olivia outside. The sun hit Olivia's face. People were gathered, watching. 3 black SUVs with dark-tinted windows were parked near the gate. One of them had the door open. A man stepped out. He was tall, dark, and well-dressed in a navy blue suit and tie. His shoes shone, his wristwatch sparkled. His face was calm, almost gentle. This was Emeka. His eyes studied Olivia quietly. "So this is her?" he asked, voice deep. "Yes, Chief," Madame Sandra said quickly, smiling too. Hard. "My daughter. Very quiet girl, very respectful. She will make you happy, sir." Emeka nodded slowly. He walked closer to Olivia. "Good afternoon, Olivia," he said softly. She looked at him through her tears and whispered, "Good afternoon, sir." He held out his hand. Her fingers shook as she placed her hand in his. Cameras clicked. Then, in front of everyone, he turned to his assistant. "Transfer 5 million naira to Madame Sandra," he said. The women around gasped. Madame Sandra almost fell. 5 million? One of her friends cried. "Jesus! Sandra, you are blessed." Madame Sandra's phone beeped. She checked it, and her eyes widened. "It has entered," she shouted. 5 million. Thank you, sir. God will bless you. God will keep you. God will add more billions to your billions." The crowd cheered, but Olivia felt sick. So it is true, she thought weakly. She really sold me. Emeka turned back to her and gave a small smile. "Shall we go?" he asked. Olivia's throat felt dry. She looked at her mother one last time. "Mama," she whispered, "please, don't let them take me." But her mother only waved her hand, smiling like nothing was wrong. "Go, my dear," she said. "Your new life has started." With that, Emeka gently pulled Olivia towards the SUV. She walked slowly, the bag heavy on her head, her heart heavier in her chest. They reached the car. He helped her inside, then entered after her. The door closed, the engine started, the SUVs began to move. As the car rolled out of the dusty compound, Olivia pressed her palm to the window, watching her mother and the laughing women grow smaller and smaller. A silent sob shook her body. She wiped her face and turned her head, only to see Emeka watching her closely. "There is something you need to know," he said quietly, his voice calm but serious. Olivia's heart jumped again. She stared at him, fear and confusion mixing inside her. What do you mean?" she whispered. Emeka leaned back in his seat, eyes still on her, as the SUVs sped toward the main road that led to Lagos. "We are not going to have the kind of marriage your mother thinks," he said. Olivia blinked, confused. "What kind of marriage are we going to have then?" she asked, her voice small. Emeka's lips curved in a strange, unreadable smile. "You will find out," he replied. The road stretched long in front of them. The village disappeared behind, and Olivia had no idea if she was driving into a new life or into a new kind of disaster. The drive to Lagos felt like a journey into another world. Olivia sat quietly in the back seat of the SUV, her bag on her lap now, her eyes still wet from crying. The village dust still clung to her skin, and her heart felt too heavy to beat normally. She kept replaying Emeka's strange words in her head. "We are not going to have the kind of marriage your mother thinks." What did that even mean? Olivia pressed her back against the seat and slowly wiped her cheeks. She didn't know whether to feel afraid or hopeful. Emeka, on the other hand, sat calmly beside her, scrolling through his phone. His suit looked too clean for the dusty road they were on. His face was peaceful, like he wasn't the reason a young woman had just been dragged away from her dreams. He finally put the phone down. "I know you have questions," he said. Olivia swallowed and nodded slightly, not trusting her own voice yet. "But before I explain anything," he continued, "you need to understand something important. Your mother did not ask me to marry you because she loves you. She asked me because she needed money. A lot of money." Olivia's heart cracked again. She knew her mother had problems, but to hear it from a stranger hurt differently. "I didn't want to marry anyone," Olivia said softly. Her voice trembled like the words were scared to leave her mouth. "I still want to be a doctor. That was the promise I made to my father." Emeka turned his head toward her. For the first time, Olivia noticed something. His eyes weren't cold or proud like she expected from a billionaire. They were gentle, almost sad. "That is exactly why I came," he said. "To save your dream." Olivia blinked. "Save her dream? Sir, I don't understand," she whispered. Emeka took a quiet breath. "The truth is, I had no intention of marrying you, not in the way your mother imagined." Olivia's eyes widened. He continued, "Your mother and I had a business connection many years ago. One day she called me crying, saying she needed help urgently. I asked what was wrong. She told me her daughter was suffering, that you were about to be forced into a terrible marriage with a man much older and much worse than me." Olivia gasped. "That's a lie," she cried. "Mama never said that." Emeka shook his head, gently. "She lied to me too," he said. "I believed her. She told me that if I agreed to marry you, even just on paper, I would be saving your life. She begged me. She cried. She said it was the only way to protect you." Olivia stared at him, shocked. She didn't know which part hurt more, her mother lying, or the fact that Emeka had believed it. "So I agreed," Emeka said. "But when I reached the village today, I saw the truth. And the truth was very different. You weren't being forced by a dangerous man. You were being forced by your own mother." Olivia felt a slow, sharp pain spread through her chest. Her mother had done many things that hurt her. But this was different. "I am sorry, Olivia," Emeka said quietly. "I really am." The SUV drove past a long stretch of road lined with trees. Olivia watched the green blur past the window, her fingers tightening around her gown. "So, why didn't you stop the marriage?" she asked. Softly, Emeka looked out his own window. "Because stopping it in front of your entire village would have destroyed your name," he answered. "Your mother made too many people believe you were about to enter a good future. If I stepped back, the story would twist against you. They would call you rude, ungrateful, a girl who chased away a blessing." Olivia knew he was right. Village gossip spread faster than wildfire. "And," Emeka added softly, "I knew your mother would force you again. Maybe even sell you to someone else." Olivia shuddered. "So what does all this mean for me?" she whispered. "What happens now?" Emeka turned fully toward her, and for the first time she saw nothing but honesty in his eyes. "Nothing happens," he said. "You're safe. I'm not going to touch you. I'm not going to treat you like a wife. I'm not even going to keep you in my house if you don't want to be there." Olivia stared at him in disbelief. "What I want," Emeka continued, "is to give you the life you deserve, the life your father wanted for you." Olivia felt her heart jump. "What life?" she whispered. Emeka's lips curved slowly into a kind smile. "You're going to school," he said. "Real school. University of Lagos. Medicine." Olivia froze, her breath caught in her throat. Medicine?" she stammered. "Yes," Emeka said. "I have already spoken to a friend who is a dean. Everything is ready. You will begin your studies as soon as we settle you in Lagos." Olivia's hands flew to her mouth. Tears streamed down her cheeks again, but this time they weren't from pain. They were from hope. Her dream, her father's dream. It wasn't dead. It wasn't gone. It was standing right in front of her. Emeka looked down at his watch, then continued. "You will stay in the guest house in my estate. It's safe. You will have everything you need. Books, meals, tutors, protection. But," he paused. Olivia blinked away tears and looked at him. "You will also have freedom. Total freedom." Olivia's eyes softened, confused. "Why?" she whispered. "Why are you helping me? You don't even know me." Emeka held her gaze for a long moment. Then he answered softly and honestly. "Because once," he said, "someone saved me too." The SUV grew quiet again. Olivia sat back, breathing deeply, trying to understand this strange turn of fate. Her mother had pushed her into a marriage she didn't want, but the man she feared most was giving her what she wanted the most. She touched her heart softly. Maybe God had not abandoned her. The SUV finally reached Lagos hours later, passing tall buildings and bright lights. Everything felt big and fast. Olivia's eyes widened. She had never seen anything like this. Soon, they turned into a wide private road leading to a large mansion. The gate opened automatically. Security guards stood straight, saluting as the SUV drove in. "Welcome to your new home," Emeka said. Olivia stared through the window, amazed. The compound looked like a dream. Flowers lined the walkway. The house itself was huge, shining like something from a movie. She stepped out of the SUV slowly, her legs trembling. She expected to feel trapped. Instead, she felt something else. A small spark of hope. Emeka stood beside her, hands in his pockets. "I promise you," he said quietly. "This is only the beginning." Olivia opened her mouth to respond, but suddenly, bang! A loud sound echoed from inside the mansion. Olivia jumped. A man ran out from the front door, shouting, "Sir! You need to come quickly." Emeka's face tightened. "What happened?" he asked sharply. The man breathed hard, pointing behind him. "It's your sister," he said. She collapsed. Olivia's entire body froze. Emeka rushed forward. The guard followed. Olivia stood at the bottom of the stairs, shaking. She didn't know the woman. She didn't know the story. She didn't even know what she herself was doing in this strange, rich place. But something inside her told her. This was only the beginning of the trouble ahead. Olivia didn't think. She didn't plan. She didn't wait for permission. The moment she heard collapsed, her legs moved on their own. She grabbed the edge of her gown and ran up the marble stairs into the mansion, her heart pounding wildly. She had never entered a house this big before. The floor sparkled like water. The chandelier above her glowed brighter than the sun in her village. But Olivia didn't stop to admire anything. She followed the shouting voices. Down the long hallway, past two security guards. Into a large living room where a woman lay on the floor. A young woman, maybe in her early 20s. Her eyes fluttered weakly, her skin looked pale. One hand clutched her stomach, the other lay limp. Beside her, a glass cup had shattered on the floor, spilling water everywhere. Two maids knelt beside her, crying and shaking her shoulders. "Madam Adaora, madam, please wake up." Emeka was already crouched beside his sister, his hands firm but shaking. "Adaora, stay with me," he begged. "What happened? Talk to me." Adaora tried to speak, but her throat only made a small, broken sound. Olivia pushed her way through the circle of people. "Let me help," she said. One of the guards grabbed her arm. "Madam, please step back." But Emeka stopped him. "No," he said quickly. "Let her come." Olivia dropped to her knees beside Adaora. In that moment, everything she had ever learned from reading her father's old medical books rushed back into her mind. All the nights she spent imagining herself as a doctor suddenly came alive. She checked Adaora's pulse. Weak, too weak. She touched her forehead. Cold. She pressed gently on her stomach. Adaora let out a soft cry. Pain. Severe pain. My side. Adaora whispered. It hurts. Olivia took a deep breath. "Sir," she said to Emeka, "we need to get her to a hospital now." "What do you think it is?" Emeka asked quickly. "It could be appendicitis," Olivia said, "or internal bleeding. But whatever it is, we don't have time. She needs urgent help." Emeka didn't wait. He lifted Adaora into his arms. "Driver," he shouted, "start the car." The guards rushed ahead. Olivia followed behind them as they moved toward the door. Her heart hammered with fear, not for herself, but for the girl who could die at any moment. The world outside was chaos. Drivers ran. Security scattered. Two SUVs roared to life. Emeka carried Adaora into the back of the first one. Olivia climbed in beside him. Without thinking, the door slammed shut and the car sped out of the compound so fast the tires screeched. Adaora groaned in pain. Olivia held her hand tightly. "It's okay," she whispered. "Stay with us. Keep your eyes open. Breathe slowly." Emeka watched Olivia with surprise. "You know what you're doing," he said quietly. Olivia's voice shook but stayed strong. "I've been studying on my own since my father died. I may not be a doctor yet, but I learned everything I could." Adaora gasped again. Olivia placed a hand on her chest. Deep breaths, she said gently. In, out, in, out. The driver raced through Lagos traffic, horns blaring, motorcycles swerving out of the way. The city lights flashed past the windows. But inside the car, fear grew heavier with every second. Adaora's grip weakened. Her breaths slowed. Her eyes rolled slightly. Emeka, Olivia whispered urgently, tell the driver to hurry. I'm trying. Emeka shouted. Hold on, Adaora. Hold on. Olivia pressed her fingers to Adaora's wrist again. The pulse was almost gone. Her heart dropped. She leaned closer, speaking softly but firmly. Stay awake. Don't close your eyes. Just listen to my voice. You can do this. You are strong. Adaora blinked weakly, tears forming at the corners of her eyes. Then, suddenly, her body jerked. She inhaled sharply. Then her eyes rolled back. Her hand slipped from Olivia's. Emeka, Olivia screamed. She's going into shock. What do we do? Emeka cried. Olivia leaned over Adaora's body, tapping her cheek gently. Stay with me, stay with me. Look at me. Nothing. Adaora's body grew still. Too still. The car made a sharp turn. The hospital came into view. Doctors were already running out, pushing a stretcher. The SUV screeched to a stop. Emeka jumped out, carrying Adaora into the hospital entrance. But Olivia didn't follow right away. She sat frozen in the back seat, her hands shaking, tears filling her eyes. What if she dies? What if I was wrong? What if Emeka blames me? A guard opened the door. Madam, they need you inside. Olivia wiped her face and ran into the hospital. Everything was loud, machines beeping, doctors shouting, nurses rushing. Emeka pacing back and forth with his hands on his head, his suit jacket now off, his tie loose, fear written on his face. Then a doctor pushed through the doors. Chief Emeka, he called. Emeka rushed toward him. Doctor, how is she? Is she alive? Talk to me. The doctor sighed heavily. They all waited. Seconds felt like hours. Finally, the doctor spoke. We need one of you to sign the emergency consent form immediately. If we don't operate now, she will not survive. Emeka froze. Operate? He whispered. Yes, the doctor said. Her appendix has ruptured. She is bleeding internally. We have less than 30 minutes. Emeka grabbed the form with shaking hands. But he wasn't looking at the paper. He was looking at Olivia. You, he whispered. If you didn't tell me to bring her here, she would already be gone. Olivia swallowed hard. I only did what anyone would have done, she said softly. But Emeka shook his head. No, he said firmly. Most people would have panicked. Most people would have stepped back. You didn't. For the first time since she met him, Olivia saw something in Emeka's expression. Not calm, not wealthy, not powerful, but grateful. Deeply, painfully grateful. A nurse rushed over and took the signed form. Please wait in the hall, she said. We will update you soon. The doctor disappeared into the operating room with his team. The doors closed, and the hallway fell painfully silent. Emeka sat on a metal bench, elbows on his knees, hands covering his face. Olivia sat beside him slowly. Minutes passed, neither of them spoke. Then finally, Emeka whispered, voice breaking for the first time. She is the only sister I have left. Olivia's eyes softened. I'm sorry, she said gently. Emeka lifted his head and looked at her. You came into my life only today, he said. Yet you are the reason she still has a chance. Olivia looked down at her hands. I didn't do it alone, she whispered. God helped too. Emeka nodded slowly. Silence filled the hallway again. Then, suddenly, the operating room doors swung open. Everyone jumped to their feet. The doctor stepped out, removing his gloves. His face was unreadable. Olivia's heart stopped. Emeka's hands shook. Doctor, he whispered. Is she? The doctor breathed out deeply. Then he said, she made it. Emeka closed his eyes in relief, tears slipping down his cheeks. Olivia's hand flew to her chest as she breathed out shakily. But the doctor wasn't finished. He stepped closer and looked straight at Olivia. You, he said, saved her life. Olivia gasped softly. Emeka turned to her, stunned. The doctor continued. If you hadn't recognized the signs when you did, she would have died in the next 20 minutes. Olivia covered her mouth, tears filling her eyes. She couldn't speak. She couldn't even breathe properly. Emeka stepped forward, looking at her like he was seeing her for the first time. Olivia, he whispered. You are meant for this. Olivia shook her head slowly, wiping her eyes. I'm not a doctor yet. No, Emeka said softly, but you will be. Before Olivia could say anything else, the doctor added, She's asking for her. Both Olivia and Emeka turned. Asking for who? Emeka asked. The doctor pointed at Olivia. Your sister wants to see her. Olivia's chest tightened. Why? Why her? She didn't even know Adadora. But one thing was clear. This moment, this night, this emergency, would change everything. And Olivia was not ready for what would happen next. The hospital room smelled like disinfectant and cold air. Machines beeped softly. The lights were dim. Olivia stood at the doorway, her hands shaking slightly as she stared at the girl lying in the hospital bed. Adadora looked small now, fragile, nothing like the woman who had collapsed with so much fear and pain. A bandage wrapped around her abdomen. Her skin was pale, but her eyes were open, soft, tired, and searching. For Olivia, come, the nurse whispered behind her. She's waiting. Olivia stepped forward slowly. Her gown brushed against the floor. Her heart pounded so loudly she could hear it in her ears. When she reached the bedside, Adadora smiled weakly. You're Olivia, Adadora said softly. Olivia nodded. Yes. Just rest. Don't talk too much. But Adadora shook her head gently. No, she whispered. I need to say thank you. Olivia blinked. You heard us? Adadora nodded again. I heard you talking to my brother. I heard you telling me to breathe. I heard your voice. Your voice kept me awake. Olivia felt tears sting her eyes. You saved my life, Adadora whispered. Why would you do that? When you don't even know me? Olivia swallowed hard, her throat tight. Because it was the right thing to do, she said. And because I know what it feels like to lose someone. Adaora's eyes softened. You're a good person, she said. No wonder Emeka chose you. Olivia froze. Chose me? For what? Adadora gave a weak smile. My brother doesn't bring strangers into his life, she said. He protects his world. He doesn't trust easily. Olivia looked down at her hands. He told me our marriage wasn't real. He only agreed because my mother tricked him. Adadora chuckled softly, then winced in pain. Yes, he told me. But there's something he didn't tell you. Olivia looked up, puzzled. Adadora continued. My brother once lost someone he loved, a girl. Long ago. She wanted to be a doctor too. Olivia's chest tightened. What happened to her? She died, Adadora whispered. From a sickness they caught too late. Since then, he has used his money to help people with dreams, especially people who remind him of the girl he lost. Olivia looked at Adadora with wide eyes. Me? Adadora smiled weakly. Yes. You. Before Olivia could respond, the door burst open. Emeka rushed in, eyes full of worry and relief. Ada! He gasped. Thank God you're awake. He moved to her side, touching her forehead gently. You scared me, he whispered. Don't ever do that again. Adadora rolled her eyes playfully. If you buy me that car I want, maybe I won't faint next time. Emeka laughed shakily, wiping a tear. But then he turned to Olivia. His expression changed. Softened, warm. You stayed with her, he said. Even when you were scared. Olivia shook her head. I didn't do much. Yes, he interrupted. You did everything. Adadora cleared her throat loudly. Brother, she said. Can you let her sit? She looks like she's about to fall. Olivia sat down quickly, cheeks warm. The room settled into a gentle quiet. Emeka stood between his sister and Olivia, looking strangely proud of both. Then Adadora looked at him seriously. Brother, she whispered, you need to tell her. Olivia blinked. Tell me what? Emeka hesitated. His eyes dropped to the floor. Adaora sighed. I'll say it then. She looked at Olivia gently, but firmly. You're not safe. Olivia froze. What do you mean? Adaora continued. The man Mama Sandra lied about. The one she said was forcing you. The one she used to trick my brother. She swallowed. He's real. Olivia's heartbeat doubled. Emeka's jaw tightened. That man, Adaora whispered, came to our Lagos office this morning. Before you and the brother arrived, demanding money. Olivia's head spun. What? She gasped. Adaora nodded. He said your mother promised him you. He said he already paid something. He said you're his property. Olivia covered her mouth in horror. No, she whispered. No, that cannot be true. Adaora nodded slowly. Your mother was not just trying to marry you off, she whispered. She was trying to sell you twice. Olivia felt the air leave her lungs. Her stomach twisted. She could barely breathe. Emeka stepped forward and placed a firm, warm hand on her shoulder. Listen to me, he said. You're safe here. I will not let anyone touch you. Not that man. Not anyone. Olivia looked up at him, tears spilling over. Why would my mother do this? She whispered. Emeka knelt beside her. Sometimes, he said softly, poverty makes people lose their heart. Your mother saw your future as a way to escape her own life. Olivia shook, her head, crying quietly. But I didn't ask to be the escape. Emeka squeezed her hand. You don't owe her your life, he said gently. But you owe yourself your future. Adaora nodded slowly. And that man will come looking for you again, she said. He sounded dangerous. Olivia's whole body trembled. But why? She whispered. Why would he think he owns me? Adaora looked down sadly. Because your mother told him so. Olivia's tears came harder now. Not soft tears. Not quiet tears. But painful, heavy tears that came from a place she had hidden inside her for years. Emeka moved closer, placing a comforting hand on her back. You're safe, he said again. As long as you are with me. Olivia took a shaky breath. Then Adaora spoke again. There is another thing, she said. Something even worse. Olivia wiped her eyes and looked up. Emeka looked confused. What worse thing? Adaora hesitated. Then she said, that man wasn't alone. He had someone with him. Olivia frowned. Who? Adaora met her eyes slowly. Your mother. Olivia froze. Her breath caught. The room spun around her. No, she whispered, voice breaking. Not Mama. She wouldn't. Adaora nodded sadly. Olivia, your mother is helping him. Olivia's chest tightened as if someone had wrapped a rope around it. She couldn't breathe. She couldn't think. She heard Emeka curse under his breath and stand up angrily. But all Olivia could see was her mother's smiling face when the 5 million naira alert came in. All she could hear was her mother's voice saying, Go, my dear, your new life has started. Her whole body began to shake. Emeka knelt in front of her again, gently holding her trembling hands. Olivia, he said softly. Look at me. She lifted her eyes slowly, tears streaming down her face. You are safe, he repeated. I swear on everything I own. I will protect you. Olivia sobbed quietly, her tears dropping onto his hands. But a new fear had already begun to grow inside her. If her mother had joined forces with a stranger who claimed ownership of her, then returning to the village one day would be a different kind of danger. Because someone had decided Olivia did not belong to herself, and they were coming for her. The next morning came with soft sunlight falling across the hospital windows, but Olivia didn't feel the warmth. She had barely slept. Even after Adaora was moved to a recovery room, even after Emeka told her she could rest in the guest house nearby, Olivia's mind stayed awake all night, replaying the same painful questions. Why did my mother do this? Why would she help a stranger claim me? Why wasn't I enough for her? She sat in the visitors' lounge now, small and quiet in the huge space. The leather chairs felt too big for her. The air smelled like medicine, and her fingers twisted nervously in her lap. She didn't hear Emeka walk in, but she felt his presence. He stood beside her for a moment, watching her silently. "You didn't eat," he said softly. Olivia didn't look up. "I wasn't hungry." He sat beside her. "You're thinking about her," he said gently. Olivia nodded without speaking. Emeka leaned back in his chair and sighed. "I talked to that man, the one who said you belonged to him. I handled it." Olivia's heart jumped. "What did you do?" "I made sure he can never come near you again." Olivia blinked at him, eyes wide. "Did you hurt him?" Emeka smiled slightly. "No. I used something more powerful." "What?" "Police, lawyers," he paused. "And the loudest weapon in Nigeria, fear." Olivia stared at him. "He won't try again," Emeka said firmly. "I promise you." Olivia looked away, tears forming again, not from sadness, this time, but relief. "What about my mother?" she whispered. Emeka hesitated, then answered honestly. "She won't bother you anymore. Not while I exist." Silence settled between them. Then Emeka turned his body toward her. "Olivia," he said softly, "you are free now. Nothing is tying you down. Nobody owns you. Your life is yours again." Olivia inhaled slowly. "But where do I go?" she whispered. "What do I do now?" Emeka looked at her gently. "You live," he said. "You learn, you grow, and you become the doctor your father wanted you to be." Olivia wiped her eyes slowly. "And if my mother comes back?" she whispered. "Then you decide what to do with your heart," Emeka replied. "Not out of fear, but out of who you want to be." 5 years later. The years moved fast. Too fast. Olivia grew into a new version of herself, strong, confident, beautiful, and brilliant. Unilag was tough, but she survived every tough night. Every exam, every challenge. Emeka kept every promise. He never treated her like a wife. He treated her like a child he wanted to see succeed. He became family. Adadora fully recovered and became Olivia's closest friend. And then, one bright afternoon, inside Lagos's most respected private hospital, Dr. Olivia stood wearing a white coat, her ID hanging proudly on her neck. She gently rocked her newborn baby boy in her arms. His name was Jonathan, her son. A miracle. A soft knock came on her door. "Dr. Olivia," a nurse said with a smile, "Chief Emeka is waiting downstairs. He says it's time." Olivia nodded. Yes, it was time. Time to return to the village that threw her away. Time to show them who she had become. Time to face the woman who broke her heart. People in the village gathered as if a festival was happening. Phones were up. Voices were loud. The dust rose as the long convoy of cars rolled into the familiar red earth compound. Children ran, alongside the SUVs, screaming, "Dr. Olivia has come." Even the chickens scattered. Olivia stepped out of the back seat, her baby boy in her arms. The villagers gasped. She looked nothing like the crying girl they had pushed into a billionaire's car 5 years ago. She wore a clean white coat over a stylish dress. Her hair was neatly styled. Her earrings shone. Her smile was calm, strong, and gentle. A woman pushed through the crowd suddenly. Her mother, Madame Sandra. She wore a simple wrapper now. No flashy lace. No gilet. No gold. Her eyes were red and swollen. She looked much older. "Olivia," she whispered. She fell to her knees instantly. Before anyone could blink, she held Olivia's legs and sobbed loudly. My child, please forgive me." Olivia froze. She had imagined this moment many times. Sometimes she wanted to shout, sometimes she wanted to ask, why? Why me? Why my life? But now, seeing her mother on the ground, she felt something else. Deep sadness, deep hurt, deep love she didn't know how to carry. "Get up, Mama," Olivia whispered. Madame Sandra shook her head, crying harder. "I don't deserve to stand," she cried. "I don't deserve to look at you. I failed you. I sold you. I lost you. Please, forgive me," the villagers whispered. Some cried, some were shocked. Emeka stood behind Olivia, quietly watching. Adaora stood beside him, holding his arm. Even baby Jonathan looked around curiously. Olivia slowly bent down and touched her mother's shoulders. "Stand, Mama," she whispered again. "I won't let you kneel like this." Madame Sandra looked up at her daughter with trembling eyes. "Do you forgive me?" she whispered. Olivia breathed deeply. "I forgive you," she said softly. The villagers gasped. Madame Sandra broke into louder tears and hugged Olivia's legs, but Olivia gently stepped back. Her voice remained soft but firm. "I forgive you, but things will never be the same." Madame Sandra froze. The crowd fell silent. Olivia gently rocked her baby boy and lifted her chin. "I have healed," she said, "but my heart is not a place you can walk into freely anymore." Madame Sandra lowered her head. Olivia looked at Emeka. He nodded. She turned back to her mother. "You hurt me," Olivia said quietly. "You broke something inside me that took years to fix. I forgive you, but trust is something I cannot give back easily." Her mother cried again, this time softly. But she understood. Everyone understood. Forgiveness did not erase history. It only gave Olivia freedom. Real freedom. Olivia lifted baby Jonathan in her arms and kissed his head gently. Emeka stepped closer and whispered, "Your father would be proud." Olivia smiled softly. "I hope so." The villagers watched as Olivia, no longer a scared girl with tears on her cheeks, walked toward the house. Tall, confident, a doctor, a mother, a woman who survived everything meant to break her. And though she forgave her mother, one thing was clear. Their relationship would never be the same, because Olivia now belonged to her future. Not her past, not her pain, not the mistakes of her mother. She was her own person now. And the world finally was hers. If you like this story, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel for more interesting stories.